lot of people don't realize that networking happens internally as well. So right now I'm working at Deloitte, and like networking is such a big part of the culture. And what like a lot of people don't realize going in is that there's so many different roles that you can get as like a business technology analyst or a consultant in the company. And one of my ultimate passions for like the last 2 to 3 years was or it has been and continues to be UX and UI. And when I realized that like Deloitte has this entire area of like people doing digital work and like web design and stuff like that, I was like, okay, I need to stand out from all these other people, because right now I look like them, but our skills are actually different. So ultimately it came down to reaching out to the right people and creating content. And for me, that was creating websites and a portfolio and sharing my content with different leaders within the space and getting seen that way. And then eventually, like 1.5 years later, here I am sitting in a UX UI role because of the content that I shared and the people I networked with. So ultimately, creating that personal brand isn't only important just for getting a job, it's for getting in the places within the jobs that you already have that you want to be.
Dude, definitely. Networking internally is so important. And especially when you work for any company, you can literally find anybody who's like worked specifically at your company, obviously, right? So that's what I actually did specifically with, like, for example, when I was at Google, I'd always reach out to like the big VPs and try to like talk to them and get a phone chat with them. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, if you have some people who are higher up there and they're seeing the different things that you're doing, then they can basically, for example, if you want to move into that role, that's why I actually moved from being an analyst to a trainer when I was at Google, just from that networking perspective. Because then you can just be like, hey, Nikhil, can we chat for 30 minutes? Yeah. And then, or you can just meet on campus, for example, right? So it's definitely important to network internally. Yeah,
and I can actually talk about that with Esri. I mean, all of our cases, it's very similar, because that's literally the role I'm currently in on the integrated marketing and the digital performance management team at Esri. That really happened from while I was interning at Esri. I asked if I can do a specialty project for this department because a lot of the stuff they're doing interested me. I did a specialty project there. I created connections there. I asked for those 30-minute, one-on-ones with the directors and all that kind of stuff. After I finished it, they set up a specialty position as a student tech while I finished up my MBA, and I got that role. So it really came from networking within that organization, building my personal brand. They understood what my capabilities were, my background, my portfolio, all that kind of stuff, and it allows me to work in that department, which is really cool because I'm the youngest in that department, and you don't see anybody my age in that department, and it really came from just my networking. It didn't come.
You're 15, right? I'm kidding.
I'm a solid 23, but like we'll take the 15 for now. I mean, that gives me a lot of clout if I was 15 years old in the department. I mean,
I'd be like, damn, shoot. But that's awesome. No, definitely. Like, and for example, when you network internally too, what I was gonna say is you find mentors, but then also people who are SMEs, subject matter experts at different fields. So for example, like if I have a question in regards to Excel, I'm like, who do I think of? Oh, I think of Mike, he's super good at Excel. Or for example, like, if I need help in regards to SQL, who do I reach out to? Oh, I reach out to Justin, right? So at the end of the day, when you're able to network internally, you can find so many other individuals who are SME at specific areas that you're not strong in, and literally send them some projects that you might be working on that you need help with. So yeah, it's very important to do so. Yeah,
and I agree with that as well, because when you're helping other people out, they're going to help you out with stuff. So it kind of goes both ways. It creates that mutual respect within the company. And I think that's what actually makes companies better, is by having the employees themselves find what they're good at, what they're not good at, and working together in a collaborative environment. But that only comes from having those networking opportunities and actually going out there and solidifying your own personal brand, what you're good at and what somebody else is good at, and then helping each other out, because at the end of the day, not one person in a company is good at everything. So.